Welcome to today's deep dive, everyone. We are so glad you are here with us. Today, we are tackling something really important, a mission of sorts. We want to uncover why language learners, specifically beginners, can study textbooks for years, but still really struggle to understand native English speakers in real life.
Right. There's such a common frustration. You spend all this time memorizing vocabulary and mastering grammar rules, and then you step out into the real world, someone asks you a basic question, and you just completely freeze.
Yeah, exactly. It just sounds like this chaotic blur of sound, and your immediate thought is always, I didn't study enough, or, my vocabulary is just way too small.
Oh, absolutely. But we want to establish a really calm, encouraging space today. We're going to break this down simply, step by step, because, you didn't fail because of a lack of effort. You froze because you were listening for a version of English that simply does not exist in the real world.
You were waiting for the textbook. I love that way of putting it. So we're going to take our time today. We're going to speak slowly, and we're going to use short pauses between ideas because we really want you to absorb this.
Yes, and we're actually going to repeat some key sentences slowly throughout this discussion. It's a great practice to help you internalize the concepts without needing to read anything.
Right. So let's start with the most foundational phrase of all. And I really want you to listen and maybe even repeat this to yourself. Spoken English is different from written English.
Exactly. Let's say that one more time, nice and slow. Spoken English is different from written English. That is the core reality.
They are basically two entirely different languages. And I think to understand that chaotic blur we mentioned, we have to look at how native speakers physically alter words. Let's talk about the illusion of speed.
The illusion of speed, right? It always feels like native speakers are just talking incredibly fast, like someone hit fast forward. But the truth is, they aren't just speeding up, they are physically changing the sounds.
Native speakers connect words together. That's a key phrase for us today. Native speakers connect words together. Can you give us an example of how that actually sounds?
Sure. Think of a simple, grammatically perfect sentence like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
In a textbook, that is 4 distinct words. You expect to hear 4 separate beats. But naturally, a native speaker blends it all into something like, "What I a doing?"
What I doing? Wow, yeah, that sounds like one single brand new word. If my brain is looking for a crisp what followed by an R, I'm going to miss the entire thing.
Exactly. Or take another really common phrase, "Did you eat yet?" 4 separate words on paper. But in conversation, the sounds mash together. The D at the end of did and the Y at the start of you sort of collide. It becomes jeet yet.
G yet. I mean, that almost sounds like a sneeze. No wonder the panic sets in. If you hear G, you are searching your mental dictionary for a word that starts with J, and it's a complete cognitive dead end.
Right, because that word doesn't exist on paper.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for this. It's a concept called articulatory economy.
Articulatory economy. Okay, break that down for us, because economy usually means saving something, right?
Exactly. It's about finding the physical path of least resistance for your mouth. Speaking requires a lot of coordinated muscle movement. Your tongue, lips, breath. Articulating every single consonant in "what are you doing" is actually an athletic event for the mouth.
It's exhausting if you have to do it all day long.
It really is. So the mouth looks for shortcuts. Dropping hard sounds saves breath and muscle energy. It's not laziness, it's just biological efficiency. The focus is entirely on communication, not perfect textbook pronunciation.
I like to think about this using an analogy. So written English is kind of like a tray of ice cubes. When you read, each word is an ice cube. It has hard edges, it's completely separate, and you can pick it up on its own.
That's a really great visualization.
But then spoken English is what happens when those ice cubes melt. It becomes a flowing river. The hard edges disappear, and the words just flow together into one continuous stream.
And that river is what we call connected speech. The end of one word links right into the beginning of the next, like the phrase "pick it up." 3 ice cubes. But in the river, it's one fluid motion. Pick it up.
Pick it up. The K sound slides right into the I. Pick it up.
Right.
Or another one is turn it off. It just flows into turn it off.
Yes. English sounds fast because words connect together. Let's repeat that for our listeners. English sounds fast because words connect together.
And as they connect, they also shrink, right? This brings us to contractions and reductions. Contractions make English sound natural. That's another vital phrase. Contractions make English sound natural.
They really do. You might learn "I am" in a textbook, but native speakers default to the contraction "I'm." Even for the future tense, instead of "I'm going to," they say "I'm going to."
But then reductions take it even further. That's where words actually lose their sounds entirely. So going to reduces to gonna.
Yes, gonna. And here's a little pronunciation tip. It's not pronounced gonna, so it rhymes with Donna.
Yeah.
It's softer. It sounds like gonna. I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna go. It is much softer. And reductions are everywhere in spoken English. Let's repeat that key concept. Reductions are everywhere in spoken English.
Definitely. You see it all the time. Want to becomes want. Like, I want to leave. Got to becomes gotta. I gotta go.
Well,
Let me turns into let me.
Let me see that. Yeah, these aren't slang, are they? They're just the normal building blocks of conversation. But if I'm a beginner listening to this and words are melting and shrinking, I might assume I need a massive vocabulary to keep up with that fast river.
It's a very logical assumption. But actually, the exact opposite is true. Native speakers heavily prefer simple words for daily conversations.
Wait, really? So a beginner doesn't need to memorize a giant dictionary of fancy academic words to sound fluent? I mean, that almost sounds too easy.
It does sound easy, but it's true. It all comes down to reducing cognitive load. Cognitive load is just the amount of mental effort it takes to process information. If a speaker uses highly complex words, it forces the listener to work harder.
So to keep things flowing, they just default to simplicity.
Exactly. Utilizing simple words guarantees the message is understood quickly. For example, a textbook might teach you the word consume, but in real life, a native speaker just says eat.
They don't say, I am consuming a sandwich. They say, I'm eating.
Right. Or instead of purchase, they say buy. Instead of depart, they say leave. Simple language completely dominates.
Simple English is powerful English. Let's really let that sink in. Simple English is powerful English. If you walk into a coffee shop and say you wish to purchase a beverage before departing, you're going to sound a bit robotic.
You are. And this simplicity isn't just about vocabulary, it's about patterns too. Native speakers rely on familiar, repeated structures.
Most conversations use common patterns. Let's repeat that one too. Most conversations use common patterns. What kind of patterns are we talking about here?
Things you've probably heard a million times. I need to. I want to. Do you want? Can you? I think. I don't know.
Oh, sure. Like, I need to go to the store. Do you want some coffee?
Exactly. When you recognize these patterns, your brain doesn't have to translate every single word. You hear, do you want? And you instantly know a question is coming. It lowers the cognitive load for everyone.
That is so reassuring. The language stops being this overwhelming mountain of data and just becomes a set of familiar building blocks.
It does. But even if you use simple words and connect them, there's another layer. You have to understand how native speakers deliver those words using pitch and pauses.
Right, the music of the language. Let's talk about intonation and fillers, because spoken English relies so heavily on the rise and fall of the voice.
Intonation is crucial. It's not just about the words, it's about the melody. Take the phrase, you're coming. If I say it flatly with my voice dropping at the end, you're coming. It's a statement, an instruction.
But if you use the exact same words and just raise your pitch at the end, you're coming, suddenly it's a question. The grammar didn't change at all, only the music changed.
Exactly. That's why learners should focus on the rhythm and flow of a sentence, rather than obsessing over perfect individual pronunciation.
And part of that natural flow involves pauses. But human beings, we hate awkward silence, right? We don't just sit staring blankly when we're thinking of a word. We use filler words.
Yes, fillers. Words like, well, so actually, kind of.
Fillers are normal in conversation. I want to repeat that because it's a game changer. Fillers are normal in conversation. I actually like to compare filler words to the shock absorbers on a car.
Shock absorbers. Okay, explain that analogy for us.
Well, think about driving. Sometimes you hit a bump, maybe you forget an English word, or you just need a second to think. If you slam on the brakes and stop talking completely, it's a jarring ride for the listener. They don't know if you're done talking. So filler words act as shock absorbers.
They smooth out the bumpy parts of the conversation.
Exactly. You say, well, actually, let me think. And it keeps the ride comfortable while your brain is searching for the next word.
That's a brilliant way to look at it, because fillers are not mistakes to be avoided. They are vital social cues. They tell the listener, hey, I'm still talking, I just need a second to process.
So we've broken down connected speech, simple vocabulary, intonation, and fillers. But how does a learner actually put this into practice? How do they build fluency?
The sources offer two main techniques, and neither of them involves reading a textbook. The first is a practice called shadowing.
Shadowing improves spoken English naturally. That is our next key phrase. Shadowing improves spoken English naturally. What exactly is shadowing?
Shadowing means listening to native English, like a podcast or a YouTube video, and repeating immediately after the speaker. You are literally shadowing their voice.
So you aren't pausing the video to analyze the grammar, you're just imitating.
Exactly. You imitate their pronunciation, their rhythm, their connected speech. If they say, "What are you doing?" you echo back, "What are you doing?" You don't try to correct it to, "What are you
You
doing?"
just mimic the natural flow. That makes so much sense. And then the second technique is speaking aloud daily. Speaking creates fluency. Let's say that one more time. Speaking creates fluency.
Yes. You have to practice speaking daily, even when you are alone.
But wait, I have to jump in here because this is a huge hurdle for beginners. What if you live alone or you don't have any native English-speaking friends around? How do you practice speaking?
You talk to yourself. I know it feels a little silly at first, but it works. You describe your day out loud. You summarize a video you just watched. You talk about what you're making for breakfast.
Just generating the language and pushing it out of your mouth.
Yes, because speaking is a physical exercise. You are training the muscles in your mouth, your lips, and your vocal cords to handle the rhythm of English.
It's like muscle memory. You can read a book about playing the piano, but your fingers won't know what to do until you actually press the keys.
Exactly. You are training your mouth to physically produce words like gonna and wanna without your brain having to overthink it. Don't wait until you feel ready to speak. Speaking is what makes you ready.
That is such a powerful shift in perspective. So, to summarize our deep dive today, spoken English isn't about perfect grammar. It is about communication, rhythm, and natural exposure.
It's about using simple words, recognizing common patterns, and lowering the cognitive load. Listen daily, shadow native speakers, and speak without fear. Little by little, it gets easier.
It really does. And I want to remind everyone listening, give yourself some grace. You really don't need to be perfect. You just need to communicate.
That's the perfect takeaway. Connection, not perfection.
Exactly. Well, before we wrap up today, I want to leave you with a final provocative thought to ponder on your own. We've talked a lot about how messy and connected English is, but I want you to think about your own native language today.
Oh, that's an interesting exercise.
Yeah. Do you speak your native language with perfect, rigid textbook grammar? Or do you take shortcuts? Do you blend your words together and use simple fillers, just like English speakers do?
I think most people will find that they do.
Absolutely. Pay attention to your own native reductions today and realize that natural language is beautifully, efficiently messy everywhere. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.